Welcome back to the Stocks Update. Today, we have a lot to discuss regarding Lucid LCID, its recent performance, market reactions, and the key technical levels you need to watch. If you're an investor or just someone interested in the EV market, this is a must-watch. Let's dive right in. Lucid had a rough day in the market, dropping 6.76% in a single trading session. The stock fluctuated between $2.27 low and $2.42 high throughout the day, showing some volatility, but overall, it struggled to gain momentum. One important factor to consider is the trading volume. Lucid saw 76.9 million shares traded, which is lower than its 100.7 million shares average. This might not seem like a big deal at first glance, but it's actually quite interesting. The reason the average volume is higher is due to last week's incredibly high and, frankly, unrealistic trading activity. So, the drop in volume today might just be a normalization after that spike. Now, let's talk about what's driving the broader market. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell made some comments that spooked investors. He spoke about higher unemployment, rising inflation, and slowing economic growth, all of which signal the possibility of stagflation. If you're not familiar with stagflation, it's basically the worst of both worlds, high inflation and slow growth. That's bad news for most stocks, especially high-growth ones like Lucid. Here's the ironic part. Powell also mentioned that a rate cut is unlikely in May. Yet, immediately after he spoke, expectations for a rate cut actually increased. That's right, despite his statement, the market started pricing in higher odds of an upcoming rate cut. This reaction was somewhat comical, but also highlights the unpredictability of market sentiment. On the economic front, we got some jobless claims data that also impacted market expectations. 223,000 jobless claims were reported, compared to the forecast of 225,000. This is slightly better than expected, indicating a still strong labor market. However, a strong labor market actually reduces the likelihood of a Fed rate cut, which in turn puts pressure on growth stocks like Lucid. So, while the job data was good for the economy, it was bad for Lucid's stock price in the short term. As for Lucid itself, there was no official news, no SEC filings, no major announcements. However, there were a couple of things worth noting. A flyover on March 19th spotted a single-gravity EV driving around. The assumption is that most of these vehicles are stored inside before being shipped out. As we approach the end of Q1, we expect increased production and delivery activity. This means the company could be ramping up operations, which is a positive sign for long-term investors. Now, let's talk about options and short interest, because there was some interesting activity here. Short interest increased by 728,000 shares, making 23.1% of the free float shorted, which totals 279.68 million shares shorted. Options activity showed 431,000 call contracts versus 661,000 put contracts, indicating a bearish sentiment. The put-call ratio was 1.59, which is relatively high. Historically, when this ratio reaches such levels, we often see a green day follow shortly after. A significant trade was a $2 put option expiring in May 2025 with a 19-cent premium. This suggests some investors are preparing for a potential further decline in Lucid's stock price. For those of you who follow technicals, here are the key levels you need to watch. Support levels: $2.06 and $2.23. Resistance levels: $2.30 and $2.63. 100-day moving average: $2.57. 50-day moving average: $2.74. RSI indicator: currently overbought, which suggests possible downside risk in the near term. If Lucid stock breaks below $2.23, we could see further downside. On the flip side, if it breaks above $2.30 and holds, there's potential for a rebound. The next few days are going to be very volatile due to a few key factors. Quad witching. This refers to the expiration of stock index futures, stock index options, stock options, and single stock futures all on the same day. It often leads to increased volatility. Portfolio rebalancing. As the quarter ends, institutional investors adjust their holdings, which can lead to sharp moves in stocks. Big catalyst on March 27th. There's a significant Lucid-related event on this date, and traders are positioning themselves accordingly. The last time we saw this kind of movement was after Adam Jonas' analyst rating, which pushed the stock higher. So, the potential for another strong move exists. Lucid stock is currently consolidating, and we can expect volatility in the coming days. Some investors remain bullish due to the March 27th event, while short interest remains high, adding downward pressure. Technical indicators suggest support at $2.23 and resistance at $2.30 to $2.63. If you believe in Lucid's long-term potential, buying on dips might be a good strategy. However, short-term traders should be cautious due to the upcoming volatility. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps us continue to bring you in-depth market analysis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.